Hey guys, I'm trying something a little different this month. I have a question for you. Can we talk? Yeah, like us, just the two of us right now as you're watching this. Seriously. Most of the letters that you get from us each month or so are filled with the retelling of what God has been doing through our ministry that you so kindly pray for and support. And I'll add a section of that at the end of this letter because we, as my grandfather used to say, Ann and I have been busier than a one-armed paper hanger. But here at the outset, I'd like to share with you some pastoral thoughts, ultimately talking about not our ministry, but yours. I want to weave together some threads of what I believe God wants us to pay attention to in this particular hour of human history. And so, as the old pastor guy, let me read just a couple of verses from 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Paul writes, "Now as for the times and the epochs, brothers, you have no need of anything to be written to you, for you yourselves know full well that the day of the Lord will come just like a thief in the night." And a few verses later he says, "So then let's not sleep as others do, but let us be alert. Let us be sober in the way that we think about the moment that we're living in." So I want to share three sort of pastoral thoughts to kick this off. You see, the church in America, as I've traveled all over the country, visited pastors, visited churches everywhere, it's not in a great place. But we could be on the verge of revival. If we look at only the dark side, if you spend 5 minutes on social media, you will see that there are many who claim Jesus as Lord, but their hearts right now are filled with fear, filled with contempt from both sides of the political aisle aimed at the other. The church in far too many places in retreat, and so evangelism, global outreach missions, they are at best an afterthought in far too many of our churches. But God, you see, perhaps in the despair that many have felt in this present moment is going to drive us back to Jesus on our knees. I recently had the privilege through a friend to meet another friend who pastors a church in New York City, and this church spends 4 one-hour prayer meetings every day praying for revival to come to the church in America. How cool is that? You see, the thing is, here's number 2. Jesus is building his church around the world. The gospel is advancing. And so I can't stop thinking about some historical numbers that I've been looking at. You see, in 33 AD, when Jesus ascended into heaven, how many people groups had he actually reached by that point? Well, the answer would be 1, the Jewish people from around Jerusalem and up into the Galilee, and so on. 1 people group, 33 AD. In 1792, when William Carey, the famous missionary, launched the modern missions movement, roughly 25% of the people groups in the world had access to the gospel. So that's 25% growth in 1,759 years, if you're keeping track. By 1974, the year I graduated from high school, Dr. Ralph Winter introduced the concept of unreached people groups to a conference in Lausanne, Switzerland. He estimated at that time that roughly half the world, roughly 50%, of the people groups in the world had access to the gospel. So again, if you're doing the math, that's 25% growth, not in over 1,700 years, but in 182 years. So a tenfold acceleration in the advancement of the gospel. From 1974 to 2024, the gospel has continued to move. And so by 2024, roughly 75% of the world's people have access to the gospel. That's 25% growth in 50 years. And here's what I believe. What I believe is that in the next 10 years or so say by the 2000th anniversary of the resurrection in 2033, every people group on the planet could have access to the gospel. Dear ones, we can do that. We can do that together. And particularly if the church in America could awaken to the task. You see, it's not just missionaries that have a part to play. It's you and me. The most important day, I'm going to preach on this on Sunday, the most important day in your future and in my future, it's the day we stand before Jesus. Not for his punishment. If you're watching this and you're a follower of Jesus, that's not a day of judgment, though it's called the judgment seat of Christ. What will be judged is the level of reward we receive when Jesus comes for us. And so it's my prayer with the rest of this prayer letter that I can introduce you to a couple of things that you can do and that will lead to eternal reward and that will lead to advancement of the gospel as we ask God today and every day for a gospel movement among every least reach people group in our generation. So thanks for listening so far. Please read the next couple paragraphs. We'll give you some exciting things that you could be involved with, and we'll have one more to add next month as well. Love you guys.